Welcome to Baby Matters by Gerber Medical Lab, where we explore the science behind the #1 brand in infant nutrition and answer important questions such as, what are heavy metals? With Dr. Jennifer Sample.
When feeding infants and children, understanding what heavy metals are is important. Many parents have heard about heavy metals, but don't really know what they are. The term heavy metals refers to elements arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury. They are found in the soil, water, and air, both naturally and as a result of past farming and industrial practices. Heavy metals can come from a variety of sources. For instance, mercury may be found in air and water, while arsenic and cadmium may be found in both soil and water, and lead may be found in all three, soil, air, and water. Exposure to these elements can have negative health effects and can be concerning for pregnant women, infants, and young children, as higher levels may impact neurological development in utero and during early childhood. Knowing what heavy metals are and where they come from can help parents reduce their child's exposure to heavy metals, and the impact that they can have can be an important part of feeding infants and children. Knowing how heavy metals get into food is a key factor in understanding how to safely feed infants and children. Top questions parents may have about heavy metals are often why they are in foods and which foods have them. Heavy metals can be in some foods because they are found in the environment, including the soil and water, and certain crops and animals absorb these elements as they grow. Minerals mined from the earth may also be a source of heavy metals. For instance, crops grown in the ground or with excess water can be more likely to take up heavy metals, as certain fruits, vegetables, and grains absorb these from the earth and elements as they grow. Of importance, heavy metals are never added to baby foods while they are made. Some foods prone to higher heavy metal levels include grains, rice, leafy vegetables, root vegetables, and fatty fish. Grains can accumulate heavy metals in the outer bran layer. Therefore, whole grains may have more heavy metals than refined grains. Rice, which takes up arsenic from being grown in flooded fields, is another food prone to higher levels. Leafy vegetables absorb cadmium from soil and water, while root vegetables, like carrots and sweet potatoes, absorb lead from soil. And fatty fish, like tuna and mackerel, can absorb mercury from water in their fatty tissue. Because heavy metals can get into foods from the environment, buying organic, locally grown, and/or farmers market foods does not change whether foods contain heavy metals. Understanding how heavy metals get into certain foods can be critical in feeding babies and young children. Homemade and store-bought baby food are both safe and nutritious. Healthy Babies, Bright Futures released a 2022 report that showed, in fact, homemade foods for babies are not lower in heavy metals than store-bought baby foods. This is because all produce and grains are susceptible to heavy metals that are in the environment. The best strategy to reduce exposure to heavy metals is to have a diet with a lot of variety. This is true whether offering an infant homemade or store-bought food. If making baby food at home, there are some tips to help minimize heavy metal exposures. These include washing fruits and vegetables to remove any dirt or dust, removing the outer peels where the heavy metals may concentrate, cooking rice in extra water and then draining it, just like pasta, and including iron-rich foods such as iron-fortified infant cereal. Having adequate iron status helps protect against absorbing heavy metals from food. So, for parents that are curious about making their own baby food, it is good to try to minimize exposure to heavy metals. And parents should feel confident that store-bought baby foods are safe and nutritious choices. Experts recommend dietary variety as the best way to ensure a child gets adequate nutrition and minimizes exposure to any one heavy metal. Adequate nutrition is important because a well-nourished child is better protected from absorbing heavy metals. Dietary variety helps reduce exposure to heavy metals by having a wide variety of foods in the diet. This can be done by offering a variety of nutrient-dense foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and protein-rich foods. Include infant cereals made from a variety of grains, as these are an important source of iron and also zinc. Choose fish known to be lower in mercury, such as catfish, tilapia, or trout, just to name a few. And look for baby snacks that are made from a blend or a variety of grains, not just rice as the only grain. Other important tips for reducing exposure to heavy metals include making sure that the water supply has been checked for lead, washing hands and foods to remove residual lead from dirt and dust before consuming them. When parents learn these tips, they can take practical steps to help reduce their children's exposure to heavy metals.